So I'm going to perforate the bottom of this, turn it into Swiss cheese or whatever, so that we can get some air to flow through there. But I also want to strategically strap this thing down with some zip ties. And I think since all this is plastic, we're just going to go put a couple of marks here. Then whatever I did with my drill, here it is. Now, does my drill fit in there, or am I going to have to go from the bottom? Oh, well, that's inconvenient. How far in do I want them to be? Most of the way. I'm just going to go like every inch or so. Guess if I was more professional, I would probably put a line on here. Alright, we're going to flip over and do this from the bottom, if you will. Oh yeah, got her all ventilated. Now, I heard somebody yelling. Probably did hear somebody yelling. Now that does two things for us. One, it helps let air into the box, which I might still drill this wall back here. Haven't really decided yet. Or maybe the tops on both ends or something, I don't know. But it also gives us lots of places to put zip ties to hold any future compressors, air pump compressors we decide to put in here. So as long as I have some zip ties with me, which I usually do, I'll be able to change that pump out on the roadside pretty easy, or Walmart parking lot, you know, you name it. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. Oh yeah, that ain't going nowhere. Whatever people say. And I think I decided that the smooth wire was negative or ground, and the ribbed wire was positive. Let me grab a couple wire nuts. Let's see. Thinking these orange ones. All right. So we're going to twist said wires together. So black to black. And then we're going to do a little nasty dielectric grease. Then we'll put the wire nut on. Figure that gives us a little extra protection, as it were. So I realize these are not really made for automotive, but I think we're going to make an exception. So my thinking is, if the pump goes out and I have to change it on the side of the road, or go to the next Walmart to buy a pump and then change that in the parking lot, it'll be easiest to just cut off the end of the cord on the new replacement pump, and then I can just twist on some wire nuts and yeah, be back to the races in no time. So let's try to roll that up a little and zip tie it. I think I'm gonna do something like this, and then try to tie it right there. Come on, stubborn. All right. Yeah. Liking the look of that. Trim that tail off. Just like so. And then, yeah, it should tuck back in there. Might easily be able to work on it. I think I'm going to tip it upright so those wire nuts are sticking up, not down. That way, if any moisture, water, or whatever gets in this box, at least it'll run out of them instead of on down into them. So here's what I came up with. I got some short leads, which I'm going to put on. Tubing cutter does a mediocre job. So I'm going to put on there, so hopefully you guys can see them whip whenever the valve opens and blows air through. Just trying to make sure I'm putting them on the right sides. So that would be this side. So you should be able to see them go psh, 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 psh. Which actually, I don't know if we should turn this one this way. At least you go psh, psh. I'll turn this one too. Psh, psh. Okay. No cost sound effects or whatever. Those are free domain. And then I got this elaborate deal to go in the other sides and provide air to all of the valves. Kind of like so. Sorry. All the legs are hooking onto my camera. We're missing one. Oh, there we are. You know what? We're gonna switch these because I'm OCD and it needs to be in the right tubes need to be in the right spots. And then on the end, we got the old Schrader valve. Ooh, it's fancy. Anyway, in order to hook up to that, I'm just gonna do this clip-on tire chuck, and I'm gonna try to make sure this thing is down out of the way so that when these other ones get air, you'll be able to see them go psh, psh, psh. Anyway. All right. I don't know if there's enough air pressure to really show this. So this is normally open, which is going to interrupt the leveling valve. Then this one is the up. Then this one is the tank drain. Then this one is down. So as I activate the switches, we should see different things from different things, so to speak. I'm impressed with how well that latch-on air chuck thing actually seals. Okay, so it's pressurized. Right now I've got the normally open valve turned on. It's not very warm yet. So we're gonna turn normally open off, and air should blow through. Ta-da! Now we're going to turn the up valve on. Now we're going to turn the down valve on, which is this one. And hopefully those are the ones that air's blowing out of, because I can't see from up there. Next, we're going to do tank drain. At least right now, the system seems to test okay. I can go ahead and disconnect all this. You know, I say that actually. I think I might leave those hoses in there with the T's, just so that I can Ugh. There we go. Just so when I come back to do the plumbing, I can remember which side is the in. Or actually, I got that Sharpie here somewhere. Here we go. Yep, see, I went ahead and marked that line for some reason. So I'm going to put an arrow on here. Oh yeah, I should have been an artist. Missed my calling. I don't know why they wouldn't include it to begin with. And then this one has an arrow on the bottom, plus there's not really an easy way. I got something. I got something for you. I'll probably cook that off of there. No, it shouldn't get that hot. All right, now we just got to do the plumbing part and we'll be in business. So the top of the bag has this rubber plug in there. The top of the bag takes a 1/2 inch NPT. So what I've come up with is this. I'm going to thread that in after I put some Teflon on it. And then basically I want each bag to have a valve that I can turn on and off. So if something happens with my air system, I can air the bags up, shut the valve off, and then go on down the road. So if it's I just need to make it, up the road to buy some more parts, or, hey, I need to get home. I just have another couple 100 miles. I'm headed home. I can hit a gas station, force some air into it, each bag, and then still have suspension, even if it's not adjustable. So there we go. We'll get that threaded in there. All right, we're gonna stop there. And then our little push fitting will go in there, and then our air line's gonna go, I'll have to look. It's probably gonna go up over the frame and over to the valve. Somewhere in there it's gonna tee. Somewhere in there it's gonna need a tee. But yeah, this will let me this will just let me turn the air on or turn the air off. And yeah, should be in good shape. So it's ridiculously windy today. So I'm gonna try to keep this short and sweet so you guys don't have to listen to my canopy slapping around too much or wind on the mic. But we're gonna go ahead and set up the fittings and this leveling valve for the axle, which will need these taken out. And here's what I've come up with. Hopefully it focuses. One will be capped off with a plug. One will be a straight fitting. One will be a 90 fitting. So the 90 is going to go in the top. Cap's going to go in this side. And the straight fitting is going to go in this side. So this will be, of course, there's a giant truck taking off in the background. Anyway, this will be the air coming into the valve. This will be the air going out of the leveling valve. And then again, it has an exhaust on the bottom. All right. Should look something like that. Again, we'll have air coming in here, and then the leveling valve will send air out here, eventually to the bags, but first it's going to go to our box. And then of course this side's capped off, and the exhaust valve or exhaust vent is on the bottom. So I made these great little, I would call it like a pigtail, but I've decided I'm going to use black line on the setup. That way it matches everything else instead of clear line. So now I need to take this off, which is easy. Push fit, no problems. And I'm just going to change it to black line. All right, let's do the other side. Yeah, I think that'll be perfect. All right, so now we just need to run some air lines. We're going to start by running to the bags. Like I said, I changed my, or maybe it didn't make editing, but I changed my line from clear to this black. I think it's going to look a little better. So we just got to hook into the airbag. We're going to run it across and then tee it into that airbag and then run it up to the box. There. So I'm going to wait to zip tie along that side of the frame rail because I know there's going to be 2 more lines going from that valve over and then to the box. Alright, so this will tie into the T. You guys can't see it, but just on the other side of the frame rail. So this will effectively tie the 2 bags together. And go about there. Yeah, that should be perfect. So next we're going to run 2 lines from the leveling valve to that box up there. I've got plenty of tubing. So that just does not want to work. Let's see if it works on this side. Oh yeah. So I'm just going to kind of estimate how long I want the tube to be. As I was saying, I have plenty of tubing, so I'm not worried about wasting a little. And it's really not expensive, as I recall. Now keep in mind, I haven't bought any in a few years, probably like 6 or 8 years. But back then, I think you get 1,000 foot for like 20 bucks, 25 bucks. So I'm sure it's not that cheap now, but I can't imagine it's too bad. So at some point I'm going to have to mark which lines are what. So we're going to look at that quick. So this is what I came up with. I bought a P-Touch machine, but it doesn't get here for a few more days. But I'm just going to do some painter's tape, Sharpie, stick it on the ends of each, because I'm going to end up having to shorten them. So I can just cut off the extra, throw it away. So I think we're going to do that after I stick it through the hole in the box. So try to feed these around here. So the only lines remaining are going to come from the tank, so I can hook all these together with zip ties and then try to clean them up and get them along this frame rail. So we'll do that next. there's still space between the frame and the air lines, so I don't have to worry about them sitting there vibrating on the frame rail. So we're going to kind of tag some of these before I get too much airline spaghetti in here and it just makes a big mess. So I'm going to call this one gauge, and that'll be both of these. Gauge. Hopefully they'll stay together. And then let's see here. Next is this line, and this one is airbags. And there you go, airbags. And then these two coming in, these other two, are going to be from that leveling valve. I'll have to figure out which one is which. So let me do that quick. Alright, so I pulled a little extra through, so it's longer than the other one. And that's going to be the top connection on the leveling valve. So I'm going to call it level top. Boom. Take some tape off here. And I'm going to put it down at the end again. The best is yet to come. Babe, won't that be fine? There you go, level top. I just need to remember that's level valve. And then this other one is going to be level side, I guess. Won't that be fun? I probably should put the tape over the end of the hose tubing, because my luck, some bugs will crawl in there before I get it hooked up. So there you go, level side. Wow, that's fancy. Ah, perfect timing. 9:45 to Waco. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He likes that air horn, man. He's clear past the intersection, still blowing it. Oh well. So our next job is going to be to put fittings in our air tank, and then also plug off the ports that we're not going to use. The tank is set up with lots of ports. It's got a 1/4 inch in the top, 1/4 inch in the bottom, and then it's got 3/8 on either end, and then it's got 2 3/8 on the side. Sorry if I'm yelling. But we are going to use the 1 3/8 for the pressure switch, and then we're going to use one of the quarters for the air going to the system, and then we're going to use the bottom 1/4 for the tank drain, which is going to have a line and go to a valve. So we're going to cap off this one, we're going to cap off both ends, and then we're going to put fittings top and bottom. So I got a variety of fittings, obviously the 3/8 plugs, and then I got a straight valve for the bottom. Then I got a 90 for the top, which I think will fit. It might not even fit in there. Aiming across, it's windy today. Waiting for my canopy to go flying. I'm going to put some spacers in between, quote unquote. There we go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, now we got plenty of room. So if I eventually break this fitting off or it fails, on the side of the road, I can get to it relatively easy. I at least won't have to loosen the whole tank to put a new fitting in. And I guess we can plug off this one. Sorry, I'm sure my arm's in your way, but there's just enough room to get in there. Last one. Oh, the heck. That plug was jammed up in there. Whatever. Good and tight. I think that'll work. So of course this is the lowest spot, so hopefully the water will drain out, if you guys can hear me. I'm hoping the line kind of fills with water, because the line's going to go from here to the box. So I'm hoping the line fills with water, and then when I release the pressure at that end, that water will shoot through the valve and out onto the ground. We'll see. Now we need to run 2 lines from the air tank, one from the top here and one from the bottom, and run it over into the box. So they'll be relatively short. I'm just going to kind of estimate. We'll give ourselves a little bit more. Go something like that. I'm just going to make 2 of them the same length. So we're going to do this top one first, because I'm thinking about doing something different for the tank drain. But let's see. Yeah, I think we'll have a point this way. And then we'll run it down. Then we'll tie it into the mess of hoses down there. And here's where it came out in the box. I'm going to label that tank top. Tank top, like the shirts. There you go, tank top. I'll assume that either means the top of the tank, or maybe it means you need to wear a tank top that day. Ha ha ha. The jokes are free, folks. So here's the plan. For the tank drain, it's going to run up to this input side, this one right here, valve. But I think I'm going to drill a hole down low down in that corner, and then I'm going to come up to the tank drain. And the reason I want to do that is because the tank is up here. Bottom of the tank is in there somewhere. It'll let that line run all the way down and up to the back of the box, and then up to the tank drain. So all of this line hopefully will be able to fill with water. And then when I drain the tank, the tank pressure will push all that water right out and away. So that's what it looks like. I'll just run it up this side and into that valve. I'm not too worried about the pump. I mean, my next pump might be bigger, but I got quite a bit of room. I got it in the center, and you can see I got a couple inches, 2 inches or so on either end. So yeah, now we just got to do some plumbing. All right, so I got all my, went ahead and took my lines out because I got it marked with direction arrows. So the black direction is flow, black arrows are flow direction, and then the silver arrows are up and down. And what that one is, tank drain. Unfortunately, if it made editing, I don't know, but this valve is acting up already, so that's going to end up having to get changed. Apparently you can only get 2 of the 3 valves that are good. One of them's got to be junk, so I figured I order 2 more, and then of those, hopefully one of them is good, and it is windy today. But I got T's and I got a made up deal here for Schrader valve and that, so that my air compressor I can hook to the end. Of course, all of this is so that I can change the compressor at a moment's notice with minimal effort. So I might have to go take a look at the plan again, but I know the down valve, the exhaust side, is going to go out of the box, and I'll probably drill a hole in the bottom over in here somewhere to run the exhaust, and then also the tank drain output is going to run out the box and just spray down towards the ground. So I know those two will be easy. Then this normally open switch, or a solenoid, sorry, I don't know if you guys can see that very well, that one's going to be interrupting the air, so air pressure from the tank will come in one side and then it'll come out the other side and go to the leveling valve. And then on the up bag, or the up solenoid, it will also have air pressure. So this one and this one will both have tank pressure, and this one will be tank drain on its own circuit. And yeah, so I think air pressure from the tank, which will be oh, there's a third thing, by the way, tank top right here. So tank pressure, it's not cooperating. Which one? Tank tops. That's gonna come across and have one T, then it's gonna have another T, and I thought there was one more. One T, two. Oh yes, it's gonna go to one of these two gauge lines. So I think that will be easiest. Sorry, I'm putting my hand completely in your way. Let's see here, tank top. Okay, so I'm gonna run it underneath all of this mess. Let me try and loop these out of the way a little bit at least. So I think I'm just gonna pull it like this and put a T right there and just have a short line, and then come on across and have a T in here that has a short line going to here. So yeah, that should work fine. Where's my, oh, here, there. So I'm just so ornery. So about right in here-ish. Remember that this is tank top, aka air pressure from the tank. Then we'll stick a T on it. I'm curious to see how long these cheapo plastic T's hold up. I mean, it is only like 100 pounds, but they are completely plastic except for, I'm guessing, a rubber seal. And maybe, I guess it looks like it has metal that holds the line in. So that's good, I guess. Might have to shorten that up a little bit more. No, I think that'll be fine. We've got plenty of space out here because the box lid comes out like another inch, so it's about like that. So we have plenty of room. And I don't want to get stuff too all shoved back together, I guess. All right. Then our gauge will go into that. Now, the only tricky part to this is going to be figuring out which of these does which needle. So I think we're going to do that next. All right, to test those two for the gauge, I'm going to use this Schrader valve deal. And then I'm going to do the air pressure chuck, air tire chuck latch on operation. I think I've got about 85 pounds according to my, well, I have two gauges on the tank that air is being fed from, and one says 80, the other one says 85. So it'll be interesting to see if either of those is close. So I'm planning to have the orange needle hooked into the tank pressure, which would be this line. So let's go see if the one I hooked to is the orange needle or the green needle. All right, there you have it. By sheer luck, I managed to find the right line the first try. So it's saying 70, what is that, 80? So it's saying more like 75. So now we have three readings. This says 75. The two gauges on the tank that it's coming from in the shop says 80 and 85. So whatever. All right, so now we know that this one's the orange, and then I left the sticker on for the gauge. We know that's the green needles, that is. So we're going to go ahead and cut this down and put it into that T right there. Yeah, I'm liking that. All right, so the next line we're going to put on is going to be this level top. So top of the leveling valve. It's going to run to this normally open solenoid. So it's going to have to make a quick turn and go into that solenoid. Yeah, that should be easy. So we'll have it kind of come towards the front and then double back, just kind of like that. So I'm going to say cut it in there somewhere. I'm trying to give myself extra slack, that way if I ever need to trim the end off, I still can do that. No problems. Oh yeah. There you go. What do you think? Starting to look like spaghetti yet? So maybe I can fix it in editing, but I immediately had second thoughts about the line coming off the normally open valve going to the leveling valve, feeding air to the leveling valve. And one of those second thoughts was I wanted to put something like this in there. That is just a throttle, like needle throttle valve. I don't know if it has a flow. Yeah, it does have a flow direction. I don't know if you guys can see that. So I'm going to demonstrate its operation. I just stuck the hose in a Schrader valve on the end for my normal air supply operation. So you can turn it back and it basically regulates how fast air is moving through there. So a little bit, or you can open it on up. Full speed. And it actually turns all the way off, which is interesting. Anyway, I figure if I hook this between the line in line with the line that goes to the leveling valve, I can regulate how much air that valve is using when the truck is like bouncing up and down. So it's not like goes through a dip, puts air in the bags, goes over a hill, dumps air out, then it drops back down, puts air in, then it goes back up and dumps air out, and back and forth. This will delay how fast air can go to that valve. So the differences between high and low, it won't use as much air, and I'll be able to just regulate it by hand and hopefully kind of find a happy medium between how fast it inflates the bags, but not inflating the bags too fast, but not inflating them too slow. And yeah, we'll see. It'll be something to play with. So that valve, since I already cut that line like a dummy, I think there's enough room I can put that valve in right here, and it'll be easy to get to. And yeah, it's getting a little tight on the bends, but I think it'll be all right. Yeah, and then like I say, I can kind of adjust it. I guess initially I'll just kind of crack it open a little bit, and then I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a stop nut that you can thread down and tighten against. That way it doesn't loosen on its own, but I'm not going to use that right now, so we'll just back it off. It's like there's all the way closed. We'll just go back a turn and a half or so. So that looks good. Next, we're going to label some of these lines because I ordered a P-Touch machine, but it hasn't arrived yet. And I figure later on it'll be nice to have labels on what these lines are. So if I ever want to come back and adjust the system or change lines or change valves, and I happen to get the lines mixed up, I'll at least have a sticker, a label telling me what line is for what. So we'll do that with just the painter's tape again. And I guess if I would have saved my old ones, probably could have reused them, but whatever. There we go. All right, then as far as tying these three together, I have a plan. That plan is going to be a short hose this way. Yes, about like that. We're going to put it on the T. Then we're going to put it on this dump valve, I guess would be the best way to say it. And then it's going to go over and it's going to hook into this out valve on the up, or the outside of the up valve. So then we can tie one of these other ones to that. Level side. Let's do the airbags one. Here it is. Yeah. They're just stiff enough to be annoying. So yeah, upside down. Upside down. We're going to run that into... we're going to run it into this side of the T. So let's see here. This thing can come out a little bit. I'm going to cut her about right there. The only thing I didn't buy is unions, 1/4 inch unions, which I might go ahead and try to do some of that at some point. I'm looking at it. I think I'm going to shorten it up a little bit more, a couple of inches or something. Alright, and that's airbags. I should write that down and put a label on it. So yeah, there's airbags. And so then we'll have, if we have a line that comes over here and then is teed into, that'll give us one. And we really need another line that gets teed into, right? Or can I hook these two together? No, we're gonna need 2 more tees. Alrighty. And then that leaves one line to rule them all. And this one line goes behind there. And then, honestly, stuff's so short. I'm tempted just to tee it in down at this end. I think that would be a great spot. And this will be the gauge green. We're just going to run it across the front into that T, kind of like so. So remember, gauge green. All right. I mean, I'm moderately happy with that. I think it works. We need one more T in there still because we need a place to hook the air chuck on the pump to. So that's going to go that way, which means hook it on like so. Oh yeah, now we're talking. See how easy it's going to be to change those valves with all these air lines in front now. I'm not sure how long I want this to be. I think I want it to go behind there. I'm thinking about like that maybe. I can always change it. Just cut her off. And then on the end of that is going to go my Schrader valve. Just like so. And that'll be where I hook up later with the end of this thing. Like that. Voila. And I'm sure there'll be some zip tie action related to all of this. Just kind of get everything held in place. But yeah, I think that'll do the job. Then what I like about this is if my compressor ever dies and I need to put air in the system, I can go to any place that sells air, like a gas station, just open the box and just use their tire chuck. Oops, say it, don't spray it. Use their tire chuck to charge up my system if I have to. And then of course I've got the valves on the airbags, so even if I just fill the airbags up, turn the valves off, and then be able to drive home from there. Sorry, my brain like locked up for a second. Buffering. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I think it's all hooked up. The only thing left to do is to try the system out, and I'm gonna have to decide how I want to test that. So I'm gonna think on that for a second. I went ahead and did a few things off camera because it's getting so clustered in there with all the labels and the hoses that it's going to be hard for you guys to see a whole lot. But basically we've got two drain lines that are right here and go down through the box right there. Let me move you. There you go. There you go. So the one in the back is coming from the tank, that's to drain the tank, and then the one in the middle on the bottom, the rear one on the very bottom, is the exhaust for the bags to lower them from the bag down solenoid, and then the one in the front is the exit line for the tank dump solenoid. So the line comes in the back of the box at the bottom, kind of the back bottom corner, goes to the tank drain, through it, comes back, and goes down through the box in that front line. So the other thing I did was I put this line on, put the Schrader valve on, hooked it up. I have it zip tied right here to kind of keep everything in order. And I'm not sure if I need a zip tie there, probably to hold that down. But then the cover should close pretty easy, just like so. So when you open it, there you go. And I already ordered another pump, which I'd like to take apart and see what's underneath all this plastic, because this is painted silver. So it's like, oh yeah, that's, you know, fancy aluminum metal. But this is plastic, this is plastic, this is plastic, this is plastic, this is plastic. These are metal bars. This is a metal bar, and then the body of the pump. And I'm thinking it's a motor, and then maybe a piston on each end, or I'm not sure if it does some sort of like diaphragm thing on the ends or something, or how it works. So when I get the next one, I plan on doing a video taking it apart and looking to see exactly how it works. But I want to keep a second pump with me, so if it craps out, I'll have another pump. Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm always surprised when I stumble upon a YouTube creator who has millions of subscribers and has been producing videos for years, completely unknown to me. I would like to help correct this issue by giving some of my favorite creators a shout out during my videos. To that end, I would like to take this opportunity to spotlight one of my fellow YouTube creators, someone I personally subscribe to. If you find my content interesting, please consider going down to the video's description and follow the link I have placed there. The link will take you to today's chosen creator. But for now, please stay tuned for any bloopers related to this video. Thank you, everyone. You'll be able to see him go psh, psh, psh. Anyway, so we'll clip it on down here. Oh, one already has air flowing through it. Well, that's not terribly great. So they're saying I've got these hooked the wrong direction. Okay, well, that didn't work. Stupid cheapo painter's tape. Oh, it sticks now. Yeah, no problem. Well, these two can come out in T, but then we need another T and another T. So I'm wondering if I just want to run one of these to one of the valves and then T into it and then T into it again. So if I do a T on here, I can run one of them to that T. Then if I do a T on here, I can run two of them. Hang on, I'm confusing myself. So if I run one, yeah. So if we turn this, right? We run one T there, I can tie, say, this line into this T. Then I can tie this line. No, I just tie this line into that T.